Welcome everyone to the channel. I'm Biggie Sweats, and today I'm going to be bringing you something different. We're going to be talking about the 4 best melee specs that you can take into Mythic Dungeons right now. But before we jump right into the content, I want to thank you all for subscribing, liking, and commenting on the last 3 videos and helping me achieve partner once again. But make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video on ideas that you want to see, maybe guides or little ideas for World of Warcraft just in general. Now, make sure you come and check us out over on twitch.tv Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. GMT, all the way up until 10 p.m. GMT. We do raids, keys, giveaways, everything that you could want within your World of Warcraft day. Now, let's jump straight into it. Now, the first class of this melee DPS tier list is going to be Outlaw Rogue. There is not many classes that will come close to its sheer consistency in AoE and single target throughout a Mythic Dungeon like the Outlaw Rogue. It has fantastic damage in any given environment, especially in a chain pulling situation. Its utility is off the charts, and its defensives can mean the life or death of a key and boss. It is one of the best classes in the game right now, and it is my main, and I would definitely say there is not another class quite like the Outlaw Rogue. It's pure S tier without a doubt. You're talking numbers that will hold 100k between every single pack. Its AoE damage, especially on fortified weeks, is through the roof. Now, I've been playing Rogue a little bit as my main, and I can attest to these facts that I'm talking about right here. I'm around 402 item level, around 2250 IO, and 2 out of 8 Mythic and 7 out of 8 Heroic. I've been playing it quite a bit, and it does do surprisingly and amazingly well in any given environment. Now, the reason Rogue does so well is because of its pure consistent damage, whether that be single target or AoE, and it has amazing defensible talents that it can take, starting with evasion or cloak of shadows. You're basically immune to both magic and melee at any given moment these are up. You also have utility just like deaden nerves, which reduces the damage as long as this poison is attached to the target. We also have a lot of stuns, just like blind, cheap shot, we have distract, we have kidney shot, we have gouge, we have sap. So many utility, so much control over mobs, even when you're in the fight. It's just fantastic. And then you have Shroud of Concealment. If you want to change up a route, have a specific route, or skip mobs, then the Rogue is your choice. There is no class quite like the Rogue when it comes to utility, stunning and controlling mobs, and the damage that it pours out right now. The other 2 specs are also doing very well, so feel free to jump and choose them, with sub also being very much S tier. Next up, and DPS number 2 goes to the Demon Hunter. Havoc Demon Hunter is also in an amazing position right now, falling short of that first place in my opinion, simply because of its very almost annoying playstyle with the backflipping. The movement is a hell of a lot to get control of, but its damage is incredibly consistent once you get gear. Its AoE is off the charts. It also has incredible burst damage with Metamorphosis and is extremely viable in Mythic Dungeons, and reigns supreme as one of the best, second best classes in the game right now for this early melee meta of the season. If you're looking for another melee class to play, Demon Hunter is your go-to. Now, with Demon Hunter being an S tier damage dealer, what else does it bring to the table to make it really solidify its position of S tier? It has great utility and great defensives. Defensives for the team, defensives for himself, just to keep them alive, and amazing cooldowns. Its utility is decent and somewhat broad, in which it can sort of sap, stun, and control mobs. Not as well as a Rogue can, but it does decently well in this situation. This is a dungeon build. We go into this on our Demon Hunter guide, but this is what it looks like. I'll include that build down below. This is what's being used in some high keys, but let's go further in and look at its utility and defensives. Now, the closer look at the abilities. So it comes with Chaos Nova, which is an amazing stun, an area of effect stun, stunning all the targets for 2 seconds. Fantastic. Then we have Consume Magic, which takes 1 beneficial magic effect from the target and nullifies it. We have our team defensive, which is darkness, making them take less damage and avoid damage from an attack. It has its initial interrupt. It has imprison, which is used like a sap to lock down one target, skip past it, and not enter combat. We have Sigil of Misery, which causes all enemies to cower in fear and disorient them for 22 seconds. Amazing. And then finally, we have Blur, which is its own, which reduces all damage taken by 20% for 10 seconds and the dodge chance by 50. As you can see, it's prime for defensives and survivability within keys, with a few utility on top of that. Also, don't forget Metamorphosis returns all damage you deal as health, meaning you are not going to die during that phase. This solidifies Demon Hunter as an S tier spec and is currently fantastic for anyone wanting to jump into melee. Now in third position, we have the Windwalker Monk. What a fantastic class this is. Right now, it's got incredible burst. It's got super mad levels of AoE and supreme consistency when it comes to Mythic Dungeons. It also has some fantastic utility and some great defensives and team benefits that without, you're just going to be wanting a monk. They are fantastic to level. They are great to take in your dungeons, get leveling, get creating one of these. And let's jump in and have a look at what sort of utility and defensives it brings to the table. So here's a little overlook at its build. This is used by some of the highest paths right now, some of the highest keys for monks. So if you want this, I'm going to be dropping it down below. It's a great dungeon build. Now, if we jump straight in and have a look at its utility and defensives, what does Monk have to offer to make this truly S tier? So let's start with leg sweep. It has an AoE stun that hits every mob, and it's on a pretty short cooldown. You can have this almost every single pack if you wanted to. It has paralysis, which works like a sap. It incapacitates a target, allowing you to skip it, or just for a quick initial stun that you can't handle because yours is down. We have dampen harm, which is an amazing defensive, making larger attacks even more soakable. We have diffuse magic, which allows you to take less damage from magic attacks. Expel harm, which allows you to heal off damage dealt. We then have ring of peace, which creates a barrier of knockback that no mobs can enter. We then have Soothing Mist. It has its own heal. It has an interrupt. It has Transcendence. It means you can place its body down and go somewhere else and then teleport back to it if it needs to escape something. It has Roll, which to get out of anything is amazing. It has Tiger Gloss, which clears roots, can be used on enemies and yourself. It has Vivify, another heal. It is a great utility spec. And then finally, it has Karma. Karma redirects damage back to the target. Now, if you don't want a monk after hearing all of that, I don't know what class you're looking for, because it provides amazing AoE, very consistent, and its burst is also insane. It's a bit lackluster when it comes to tyrannical or single targets, but its AoE and burst completely make up for that lack of single target consistency, and its utility it brings is amazing. Do not sleep on a monk. There's a reason these are S tier right now. Now, what is the final spec? The final top 4, what could it be? It is the Enhancement Shaman. This class is truly phenomenal and thrives on Fortified Week. It is a bit less on Tyrannical Weeks because its single target isn't as high, but its AoE is amazing, and its utility and the defensives that it brings are truly top notch. It's really what makes this class S tier. Its viability is through the roof, and if you want to play a Shaman right now, Enhance is your best friend. Let's jump in and see why this class is good. So what utilities and defensive does a Enhancement Shaman bring? Well, let's start with it has Earth Elemental, which takes aggro off the tank and allows you to just pump and heal through anything with ease. It has Astral Shift, which makes you take less damage. It has Bloodlust, which is your big haste CD that any group wants. It has Capacitor Totem, which is an AoE stun. Frost Shock, which is a slow and part of your rotation. It has Ancestral Spirit, which is a res. What else does it have? It has Healing Stream Totem, AoE heals for the whole party, even as a DPS. Healing Surge, absolutely fantastic. It has a Purge, Walking, Windrush Totem for speed. It has its own Interrupt. What else? It has a Wind Fury Totem, which increases the attack speed of any of your members in your party. If you don't want an Enhanced Shaman after that, I don't even know what you're looking for, because this has supreme utility and stuns, some great defensive, heals, everything you could want in a DPS spec for keys. Its AoE is through the roof and very consistent at that. It's a proc heavy class, but it also has a very decent burst, which just adds on to how strong its AoE really is. Its single target can be, like I said, a lackluster on Tyrannical Weeks, but it still brings more than enough to pump these high level keys. Enhancement Shaman, S tier. Now that is the end of our top 4 DPS melee classes for Mythic Dungeons. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Now let's be clear, I'll bring them up at the top, all their class icons. The 4 S tier specs that we've listed today are Outlaw Rogue, Demon Hunter, Havoc, Windwalker Monk, and Enhancement Shaman. There are a couple more S tier classes, but these are the 4 main ones we've listed today. I will go into more on our next video where we talk about ranged, or we can finish off doing the melee specs first. We will see. But they are some amazing classes right now. I would go out there, level them up, and test them out yourselves. They are all doing fantastic and don't seem to be dropping anytime soon. There are classes that are coming up with the new recent buffs. We will cover them as well. But this is the top 4 Mythic Dungeon melee classes that you can play right now. Have a lot of fun with them. Build them how you like. They are all fantastic and bring so much to the game right now. So finally, I hope you liked the video. I'm Biggie Sweats. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below what you want to see. And come and check us out over on twitch.tv/Biggie Sweats. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. GMT, all the way up until 10, 11 o'clock. And if you want my new UI, which I've now gone and changed a little bit up, I really like it even more than the last one, then just hit me up in the comments. I can show you how to do this with ease. So until next time, guys, peace!